Welcome to the shop. My name is Tavarish.
I'm Jared.
And this is Wrench Every Day. And this is a Wrench Every Day tool review. And what we have in front of us is probably the best, well, I don't know if it's the best, but these are definitely two examples of what Jared would consider a crash kit. And a crash kit is not what happens when you've crashed and you need medical assistance.
And David Hasselhoff has to come and help because you crashed kit.
Knight Rider, a shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist.
Knight Rider reference that two people got.
Let's go over that one right over again. In front of us are two examples of what Jared would consider a crash kit. Now, what's a crash kit?
A crash kit is just a tool kit that's designed for you to keep in your car for a road trip. You're breaking down, you need to fix it. You're going to pull apart or an other parts recycler and you need to pull some stuff to fix your car because you're wrenching every day on your stuff. And it's just the most portable and complete, simple to carry toolkit that isn't so expensive that if someone steals it, that you're really upset. You're just mildly upset.
Yeah, just kind of, it just ruins your day, not your month. So what we have is a Gear Wrench 232-piece set and a Pittsburgh 225-piece set. And these are sort of comparable, except for the fact that this one was how much?
With tax, that came in at $224. And with tax, the Pittsburgh and Inside Track Club membership came to $121.
All right, so basically $100 delta between the two. And this one has a few more tools, but we'll see what they actually mean. So I'm really excited. What should we start with? We should start with the cheap one or the expensive one?
Let's go through the Gear Wrench first and just kind of open it up, and because it's a unique type of carry kit versus the flat pack. So
and the way we're doing this is I am an amateur and Jared is somewhat a professional, even though I don't know if that still carries over. I think when you start making YouTube videos,
you forget everything.
Yeah, nobody cares anymore. So we're each going to give this a number out of 10, and I'm coming from the amateur side, Jared's coming from the professional side. I'm going to be doing a criteria based on how useful it is in different scenarios, whether you can work on different cars with it, whether it's something that you can take to a pull-apart yard, or whether you can have this in your house and not need anything else.
Well, I'm kind of along the same lines. How complete is the toolkit? Does it have enough that the cars I'm going to be working on, I'm going to have everything I need in the box ready to go? The other thing I'm going to go for is kind of tool feel, just what it feels like in your hand. Because if you're wrenching for hours on end, you want something comfortable. You don't want sharp edges. You don't want handles that are going to slip on you, and kind of ratchet feel, how well they ratchet, how good it can work in a tight area. Just kind of look at it from building engines, working in tight spaces, and can it do everything you need it to do? So,
and I guess finishing would go into that as well, because if you're going to be doing a professional quality of work, then you want something that's going to be very repeatable and have good sort of quality control.
Yeah, and that polish and finish falls under hand feel. An ugly tool.
Yeah,
your 21-cent tool kit really showcased that well.
I don't. That's in the garbage right now. So.
So let's open
this up.
All right,
so where, like, you can buy this Gear Wrench at like Home Depot and stuff like that.
I picked this up from Home Depot. They had it in stock. Actually, this was even on sale a little bit. I think its normal retail price was $300.
Oh, okay.
So we got this on sale and the Pittsburgh on sale. But again, we were aiming for 250-piece kits. Around about. So
so this comes with a nice little protector here,
which is nice. So when you get your kit, your tools are where they should be.
Well, what's great is that nothing is falling apart.
Yeah, this is a fairly decent plastic, and we have metric and SAE. We'll pull out the 13. One thing I'm trying to figure out. They've highlighted 90T.
Yeah.
90T instead of the size. Normally, you want, come on, there we go. You want your size to be visible, so that way when you're working through, you can grab it and find it really quick. But they want you to know this has 90 teeth.
Yeah, 90T stands for 90 teeth, but what I think this is a marketing person did this. Not a person that actually like, hey, can you grab the ratchet or grab the wrench, and which one do I get? The one that says 90T on it.
Yeah.
No, that's not the one.
No, the other 90T.
So 90 teeth should be very kind of crisp and It's not bad.
It's a very nice sound. They're not reversible, which I prefer because a lot of times you'll find in a reversing ratchet, it can break the pawl.
Yeah.
So if you need to reverse it, you flip it over. So the mechanism is going to be a lot stronger for you.
The only thing is on reversing ratchets, sometimes they are angled. So that's the reason why you need them to reverse. So they might have a little swivel or something. These are just straight. So if you need to have them angled, then this is not the tool for you.
Right. Initial chrome plating on it looks good. It's a good finish. The etching's nice. You know, it's comfortable in my hand. I don't feel anything.
So we have our little handy dandy caliper over there. Let's see what that amounts to. It's a 14 millimeter, and
it's measuring 1403, which for an open end wrench, you want these to be very tight because otherwise they're going to round. So that's
What about the other side?
Well, these are hard to measure.
They're not hard to measure.
Let's see. That's not right.
They're a little hard to measure.
Yeah. All right, and we got 1403 on the open end, which again, you want a fairly nice tight fit on a box end so you don't round it. We have a bolt that I think is a Toyota bolt or possibly McLaren, both of which generally have very good fasteners.
It's not a McLaren bolt because McLaren does not use 14.
Oh yeah, you're right. So, but you fit in, and it's just natural feel, nice and tight on the ratcheting end. Again, nice and tight. There's a little bit of movement, which again on ratchets tend to.
It's not horrible.
It's not going to slip when you're using it. Also, so that's interesting. Let's see if I can do it again. It locked up on me. The ratchet mechanism, as I turned, completely bound up, and then it broke free. So,
well, it's also, it could be some casting imperfection.
You're right. So
and whatnot. We don't have any ways to take this apart because they are just pressed in. So these are non-serviceable. Some ratcheting mechanisms on some tools, you can take them apart, you can clean
snap
them, you can
screws, but
you can rebuild them. But this is not a rebuildable thing. And honestly, these are cheap enough that you can just get a set, and you know, if it breaks, then it breaks.
But again, it's a 8 through 19 millimeter and 1/4 through 3/4, which is a pretty complete wrench set. It's going to cover most of the sizes that you're going to need for your projects.
What do we got?
All right.
Oh,
so
we
now
got like locking everything.
Yeah, we flop open the doors here. So we will pull out our first tray again with the cardboard so things don't go falling out.
So this is a preference thing. Some of the plastic toolboxes, they have like a stop here, and this is good, but sometimes you just want to pull it out a little bit without, you know, if you don't have these guys on here and this falls out, all of this is going to be falling out.
So, and here we have...
Are the bearings good?
Yeah, the bearings are good.
Oh.
They roll well.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a Torx Torx Bit Drivers, some sockets. We have adapters to go from 1/4 to 3/8. So that's a fairly complete set. Metric and SAE Allens. This is going to be very European, possibly some Chrysler. You see more Torx on them.
Yeah, and is this... So these are not tamper-proof Torx.
Right.
So the tamper-proof Torx, they just have a little hole in the middle, and that will be for airbag systems, especially in Japanese cars.
Yeah.
They have a lot of that stuff.
But again, the inverted Torx Torx socket. So
Mercedes and Audi, they have a lot of that.
You know, Toyota's got a few that pops up. Nissan. So
Bugatti.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you Bugatti owners that need to DIY your stuff.
And your pull apart, is that ratchet or is that just a normal screwdriver?
This is just a normal screwdriver.
Okay, so the way you get your screwdrivers with this is all through your bit drivers. Not bad.
I do like the case, so it's not going to get, you know, any crap in there. Like it's a pretty nicely presented thing.
It's packaged very well and packaged to be portable. I'm not the biggest fan of a drawer system just because this physically takes up a lot of space.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wasted space because your tools only take up half of this drawer.
Yeah, but I also like it because if you're doing it as an only tool set in your house, it's a really nice presentation and you know where things are going.
Right.
Without having to have like a big, you know, like we'll get to in the Pittsburgh, like that's a little bit different of form. So this is very highly polished. Like it's actually
almost blinding. Good
it really is almost blinding. I'm having trouble looking at it.
So we'll grab our 14 millimeter. Man, it is very bright.
Yeah.
A fairly complete deep section. It doesn't go down to 8 millimeter, which I would like to see a deep 8. You see those a fair amount that you would need. It goes from 9 up to 19.
So you can't work on McLaren with this, unfortunately.
1/4 inch down to the 6 millimeter in your 3/8. And you have some 12 points in your metric, which is nice because there are some fasteners that are 12-point heads, so that's a nice little extra. So let's see how the socket measures compared to the wrench. And again, on a socket, you'll get it a little looser. And we are coming in at, if I can get it, well, 14.06.
Yeah, so they're fairly tight.
They are a really good, strong tolerance. And again, on a fastener, they feel great. So the walls are nice and thick. They're going to hold up fairly well. So
the thing that I don't like about thick walls is that there are certain holes that need thin walls, whether it's spark plug tubes or any tubes in general. Maybe you're doing wheel nuts, stuff like that. So it's not probably the best to do like aftermarket wheels with the 19 or 17 here. Also, I don't like the fact that there's no 5/16 on the SAE side, because that would be the equivalent to an 8 millimeter.
yeah, it just doesn't drop down in your deep. You get it in the shallow, just not in the deep socket.
Yeah, and the deep sockets are like, they're getting more and more common on a lot of newer cars. They have a lot of 8 millimeters. So it would be nice to have that size, but it's not like a super deal breaker here.
And then, what do we have here?
And
Our drivers. Now, this does reveal kind of the, I guess you could say, not disappointment. We know this because it was marked. There is no 1/2 inch in this kit. It is only a 1/4 and 3/8 kit. It's clearly marked that.
But you can also tell that we haven't opened this before, because I'm eating my words talking about there's no 8 millimeter or 5/16 deep, because that's exactly what I'm looking at here.
Well, that's 1/4. You don't get it in a 3/8, but you do get it in 1/4.
Well, that's the only time you'd really need it, because 8 millimeter, you're only going to be putting up, 3 foot-pounds or something on there.
Right, not a ton, but I still like it because most people will have a 3/8 gun for undoing hose clamps versus a 1/4 inch driver if you're using electric. So.
Sure, but this is totally fine. Again, the same polished quality. You have metric and SAE hex tools, and
that's some quality. They come pre-bent.
one of them's a little bent. Yeah,
2 of them have they're a little bent, but that's okay. You can bend it back straight.
Okay.
But your 1.5 millimeter is not very true. You have a 1 inch, 3 inch, and 6 inch 3/8 extension, a 3 inch 1/4 extension. It would be nice to see a little bit more on that. The ratchets look very similar to a Matco quality. Their style with the snap ring. Honestly, their general feel and appearance.
This feels good.
Yeah, this is nice and tight.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So ratchet's really good. Like really everything about this is a good quality. I do have a couple small things that I'm not the biggest fan of, but
so one of my friends had an idea. It was like for Craftsman or something, and he was like, for a New Year's celebration, people could just be doing like this for streaming, like for a little party favors. And if Gear Wrench or Harbor Freight is watching this video, and I know you probably are.
That's a bad idea.
Then you should do that, and then also give us money for that idea, because I'm stealing it from my friend. I don't care if he knows that.
Now let's look back here. So one thing this kit doesn't have, there's no swivels. These are not swivel extensions. Sometimes you'll see an extension that has kind of a funny shape that allows a socket to swivel.
Yeah.
So these are just straight sockets, no swivels. Fairly complete in the 1/4 and 3/8 world. Again, nothing in 1/2, which we knew. Again, the tools feel great. I don't like this packaging. I feel like it wastes a lot of space. Again, each one of these trays is twice as thick as it needs to be. It does present really well.
But I think for somebody that needs just this amount of tools, it's going to be a good buy. But I don't know if it's the best buy, because we still have that other set. So let's get to that right now. All right, so this is the Pittsburgh 225-piece toolkit, and it already is it's a lot flatter than the other one.
It's a lot flatter. This is the shape I like for my grab and go, because it takes up less room in the car. They're just they're maximizing the storage space. There's less fluff, but it doesn't look as pretty, and it's not as convenient pull out of drawers. So, let's. There we go.
It's like the book cover when you get stuff in elementary school.
Right.
The one that just like, all right, this is the nice thing.
So first off, this has something I've never seen on one of these kits.
Okay.
And it is the most genius addition I have ever seen. And it's this sticker right here. That sticker right there.
It says this side up, and the reason why that's very important is because when you're just grabbing this, it's hard to know which side is up, and you open it up and all your tools fall out, and then you just cry for another 5 hours.
And play 255 tool pickup.
Yeah.
So again, this will flip open, and again, it's wide open when you're working. This is my preferred storage method, but we're not talking just about storage method. We're talking about the tools that are in it. First off, we have 1/2 inch. So if you're trying to pull brake calipers or any of the larger bolts, 1/2 inch is far superior. So that's one benefit in my opinion.
Okay.
A much smaller wrench selection though. These are just normal wrenches.
They're not the ratcheting kind, and they are angled.
They're 10, 12, 13, 14, and a 16. So not a 15 or 17. And
not anything that you would realistically need.
10, 12, and 14. 3 very useful sizes.
13 you'll need as well.
But
the 16 is maybe sometimes, but if you look at where the markings are on this, they're not. Yeah, like you can show that.
Yeah, it's just there's a single stamp on the open end. Maybe it focused. Probably didn't, but just pretend that there's a 16 right there.
You can show like just make an effort here.
I was making an effort, and it did focus. I was being funny.
Yeah.
See?
So right here you can see that it's just stamped right there. There is no marking at all. And well, honestly, when you're just grabbing things, it's a lot easier to see like on the length of things rather than just on one side of one of the tools. I don't know.
So the wrench is not a good sign. Sockets. These are high visibility sockets though. If you look, that etching is very easy to read. The chrome, come on, you can do it. There you go. So you have a nice, obvious, clear etching. They're not the high vis in that there's paint, but the gear wrench was only high vis to let you know it had 90 teeth.
Yeah.
Speaking of teeth, we did check this so we were smart. These are 72 tooth ratchets, not the 90, but they have a nice feel.
Yeah, it's nice and tight. It doesn't go like a mile in and out like
it's
some of the
not
cheaper
the Amazon
ones.
style.
No.
Again, the construction appearance, the bolt together design is very much a snap-on style. So the gear wrench is either same factory or designed after Matco and that style. This is a snap-on derivative or snap-on. I will say the Icon brand, which we're not reviewing yet, that's Harbor Freight's top shelf, has a 100% hand feel and working performance of a snap-on.
Well, we don't know what the internals are like on that,
Right.
so I mean, I'm sure that there's differences there.
But here, how's your noisemaker? What was that thing you wanted? There you go.
Yeah, so the noisemaker like this, just make sure that it doesn't go into any of the cars.
Right. Yay, Happy New Year. Okay. But in this kit, you do have 3 different size universals for each of the set that you're using.
So there are swivels in this kit, which is very important.
And socket sizes, we have, this only goes down to a deep 10 as well. And in the 1/4 inch, we go down to the 5. Has the 5.5, which the gear wrench didn't have, the 8. So in the 1/4 inch, you have all the deeps you would want. Okay on the 1/2 inch. There are no 12 points in this set though.
No 12 points. It has around the same amount of extensions and the same types of extensions as the other set, but this also has some adapters from 3/8 to a 1/2, or rather from 1/2 to 3/8 and then 3/8 to a 1/4.
And 3/8 to the 1/4, these always break. I love that they make, it's very optimistic, but I have never seen one that you don't just end up twisting the little nub off.
Well, you gotta not torque it to like a crazy amount. I've never had one of those break because I know that, look how tiny this little guy is.
It's perfectly
fine. You're just gonna rip that nipple off right
Let's
away.
grab the 14. Again, to our good quality bolt. It's a nice feel. And let's
wake it up. And it is, oh, I was in the corners. Let's get in the center. Is this not 0? There we go. 14.13. So it is measuring a little bit looser than the gear wrench. So again, but on the bolt, feels good. Socket walls are all a nice thickness. In this kit, something you don't get, here, you want those?
Yeah.
That you didn't get with the gear wrench is a set of pliers. You have needle nose and dikes there.
Yeah, but I mean, take a look at this.
So the dikes were black oxide coated, and where they sharpened it, they didn't really kind of recoat it. It was like they coated it and then sharpened it, so it's flaking in a weird way. But they're in there. So
it'll work. I mean, these are cheap pliers. They're gonna feel like cheap pliers. It's not vomiting oil from from anywhere, so that's good.
I will say you have got a lot.
Tight fit.
Yeah. There's a lot more Allen wrenches included, but you don't have any sockets. You only have the L's.
You also don't have the little carrying case. This is just loose. A lot of Craftsman sets will be like this, and I don't like these because if you lay these all out, you don't know what you're missing. So these can go missing, and then that's it. You'll never see them again.
You have an adjustable. Also, this works as an adjustable and a hammer in a pinch.
Actually, every tool works as a hammer in a pinch.
Fair point.
Yeah.
So you've got that, and again, like what Freddie was saying, that is a tight fit and everything. Really not an insane amount of bits. You've got a reasonable amount of the different style of bits. And what's interesting is they have an actual bit driver. So you have a 1/4-inch adapter. So if you're doing interior work, you're able to use your screwdriver and turn a socket. So that's kind of cool. But again, this is just a very normal spark plug sockets. Heavy on sockets, not much for wrenches, has a few pliers, but
no real screwdrivers other than just these.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that as a set for a person that has a car that's not European, like it's not a Volkswagen or BMW or whatever. If you have a Japanese car, this is what you'll need to go to a pull apart and get whatever you need. Off that car.
Or most American cars. Like this will cover just about everything in one kit.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not going to break into destructive testing. Like we're towards the end of the video. We don't want to break these tools because the other thing we try to do is this is going to stay here in Freddie's shop because he's good at losing tools. So Freddie's going to be working on these. So the next time we find something to make fun of, he can kind of give some feedback. But the question...
Yeah, the question remains, is this worth the $115 or $120 after tax and after the rebates and all that stuff, and the $100 less than the gear wrench? And like, would the gear wrench provide $100 more in value? And honestly, I think as far as having this in your house, I would probably get the gear wrench set just because there's lots of things that could happen in your house that you'll need other tools for. I think this is totally okay as a starter set of tools. $100 is a good price point, and right now, for what you get in the marketplace, it is just an insane thing.
It's an insane value. I will say the gear wrench ratchets are a little bit nicer of a feel. I like that style more than the bolt together construction, but these being 72 tooth, they are really good. And again, when we're talking teeth, the more teeth allows you to basically get more engagement of the ratchet for less movement. So you're in a very tight spot. Act like you're a frame rail or something.
Boom.
So with this tooth, we get against there, we only get like 1.5, 2 clicks. So I'm only able to move like right there, I'm not even able to engage a click. So that becomes a problem. So with that 90 tooth ratchet, it's much finer and easier to click. Again, that's something you can upgrade a kit with or add a 90 tooth ratchet if you're working in confined spaces. But
these are essentially amateur kits, but we are going to give them an amateur and a professional 1 out of 10. So
1 out of 10.
Yeah. So for you, from a professional standpoint,
here, let's set them both up here. Let's get them side by side.
All right, so as a professional, what do you give this out of 10?
So my criteria, how complete the kit is and how the tools feel. That's what I'm basing it on. And really, this is going to be right in the middle. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
You need a 5. Okay. All right. I can see that.
Just be how it feels, how it feels like it would last in a shop, and how complete the kit is.
So from an amateur standpoint, I would give this probably an 8, like a high 7 or an 8, just because a lot of people out there are working on their cars. They have Japanese or American cars. This is all the tools you're going to need. You might need some small things, but the things that you do need, you can just go out and buy, which is not a big deal, and it's $100 less. Now, with this one, I'll go on the amateur front, and I'll say that this, as far as completeness, is much more, but as far as value per dollar, it's not as much. So I don't think you're going to see the change in quality as far as like the ratcheting mechanisms. Like, it's fine, it's all well and good, but it's just your preference, and $100 actually does go a long way. You can essentially buy 2 of these for 1 of these. So this I would give, if this was a 8, I would give this like a high 7, like a 7.5. I really do like this kit, but like Jared said, it's a little cumbersome. It's heavy. You can't really put it anywhere that's like super duper portable, but you can with this one. So that's why I give this one a little bit of a higher score. But professionally,
professionally. So again, completeness and tool feel. They feel a lot nicer. Like they feel really good, and you get a lot more wrenches. You don't have any half inches, so that kind of hurts it.
Yeah.
So it's a 6. The tools feel that much nicer, but if it's not as complete.
Okay.
Okay, so we did math. It was very complicated. This came in at a 13, and this was a 13 and a half.
Yeah.
Now the question, you're buying it. On the count of 3, which one do you buy to put in your car to take with you on the trips?
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 100%.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
This is a great toolkit.
This takes up so much room, dude.
It takes up a lot of room, but for the criteria of the crash kit, what you're going to throw in your car, what you're going to take to the junkyard, and what you're going to cry the least when someone steals it.
Yeah, it's this every time.
It's the Pittsburgh.
It's the cheap, good set of tools. That's what it is all the time.
So
okay, so that is it. You can buy these things. We'll link everything in the description below, so you can check them out for yourselves. And if you have any tool suggestions for us, I'm sure we're going to be going out and buying tools because that's all we do. We will let you guys know with new tool reviews. And if you like this video, please do hit the like button and subscribe if you're not. But until next time, this is me, Tavarish.
I'm Jared, reminding you to always make questionable choices and
buy a Pittsburgh 225-piece tool set because it's really worth it.
see ya.
Bye-bye.